Welcome to the GreenLight Investor for the week ending April 29th, 2016. Our goal at the GreenLight Investor is to provide a unique resource to help make managing your 401k choices both a simple and easy process. We do this with a tool that uses red, green, and yellow cells to help you decide when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be taken as personal investment advice. I'll be showing you some examples of how you can use this worksheet, and that's exactly what they are. They're examples of how you can use this as an additional resource to help you manage the fund choices within your 401k plan. Always refer to your own investment policy to make certain that your choices are appropriate for both your investment time horizon as well as your understanding and acceptance for taking risk in financial markets. Let's go ahead and go right into the worksheet that we provide. On the top left corner, you'll have my contact information. If you have any questions, you can call me, send me an email, or just go to the website and download a copy of this worksheet if this is helpful. We also have an asset allocation questionnaire that will help you decide how to allocate assets based on your investment time horizon and your ability to take risk in financial markets. Our worksheet is divided into three separate sections: the investment choices, the performance, and the current weekly trends. On the left side, the investment choices are the funds that are available to you. The different column headings include the fund number, the symbol, the fund name, and a brief description of the fund. We also have an outside research tool where you can go get additional research for any of the funds that are available to you. Simply click on the hyperlink and you'll go to the website. At the top of the worksheet, you have your core investments, which are your core index funds. And as you scroll down, we'll have the satellite investments, which are ways to augment your core by adding fixed income, U.S. growth and income, U.S. equity funds, international and sector funds. Towards the top, they're generally more conservative. Towards the bottom, you'll have them slightly more aggressive. Middle of the worksheet, we have the performance numbers for 2016. Each week, we'll update the closing price, the month-to-date return, quarter-to-date return, and a year-to-date return. This is a helpful tool so that you can keep track of how your fund choices are comparing and performing against other fund choices that are available to you in each of the different categories. It'll let you kind of see trends that are starting to develop that are both strong and weak. Finally, we have the most unique section of the worksheet, and this is the current weekly trend. It adds a relative strength component to your fundamental research. Down column V will show the relative strength change for each of the funds on a week-over-week basis. This way you can see which funds are performing the strongest and which are the weakest on a week-over-week basis. In addition to the week-over-week data, we'll compile several weeks of information. And what we do down column W is each week we're going to assign a trend score, which is going to show you the strength or weakness for each fund. As the numbers are positive, you'll see green cells appear, and as the numbers are negative, you'll see red cells appear. What this does is this gives you a way to track on a week-over-week basis whether your funds are strengthening and they have a positive trend, or whether they're weakening and possibly have a negative trend developing. Gives you a good idea of how the trends are changing, and you can see each of the different categories and see how those are performing. With that said, let's go ahead and see how we can use this information to help you make choices within your 401k. Always remember that when you make the choices in your 401k, you have to go to your company website to make the changes. This is simply a worksheet that will help you keep track of the changes and provides a tool so you can see if the funds that you have are becoming stronger or if they're becoming weaker, and help you match your investment risk tolerance and time to be in the investments uh, as far as making your fund choices. So with that said, let's go to the view. Let's look at our custom view section. And there's a number of different views available to you. You can do it without the performance numbers, with the performance numbers, or when you're actually tracking your current allocation, simply click on My Allocation, click Show, and we'll come down column H and have a quick way to keep track of how your funds are actually allocated within your 401k plan. Our target is to be 100% invested in the market. We have different allocations that we want to be allocated to, and a lot of that is based on the asset allocation questionnaire, which is a real simple way to make suggestions based on your investment time horizon, as well as your understanding and acceptance for taking risk in financial markets. Our index fund allocation is currently at 10%. We currently have that. To see if there's any changes that are needed, we'll simply slide the green lights over, and as long as we're seeing green lights in the long-term trend, we're okay. Neutral's okay. If we see that turn red or bearish, then we'll most likely make a change. We also like to confirm that long-term trend with our week-over-week trend scores, and as long as these are green lights, that's showing that there's still a positive trend in these funds. Our allocation to money markets, we'd like to have 10%. We currently have 30%. We're not quite fully invested, and would like to save some capital for opportunities that may occur down the road. Our fixed income allocation, we have a target of 5, but since that's been performing quite well in this market, we've upped that temporarily to 10%. We're seeing neutral, and we're still seeing the relative strength continue to grow on a week-over-week basis. This has been relatively strong, and we're still seeing the relative strength on a week-over-week basis with a bright green, so that's no changes are required there. Our growth and income funds, we have a 10% allocation. Again, we're fully invested in these. We have a green light, and 2 green lights confirming this situation, so there's no changes to be made. We'd like to see a 25% allocation in the U.S. equity funds. We currently have 20. And in here we have a green light still in the long-term trend, so no changes needed. And we're also confirmed with a green light in the few weeks that are following the tracking. One thing to note, though, is we are weakening with these funds. I'm sorry, I was in the wrong columns. But we are weakening with these funds. We were at a relative strength trend score of 2.62. Last week we dropped to 2.44, and this week we dropped to 1.22. So we're seeing this trend start to weaken, so it may be something to be aware of. And for a more aggressive investor, they may take some of this off the table right now and look to get back in the market once the trend numbers start to strengthen. The same situation for our other 10% in the U.S. equities is we still show a long-term bullish, which is our primary trend. We're seeing that we had a nice strong trend at 3.11, dropped down last week to 2.99, and this week we dropped further to a 1.81. So with that said, if you're an aggressive investor, you might pull over to the sidelines to avoid any weakness that may develop. Longer term, we're still in the bullish camp, so if you're not managing this aggressively, then it's fine to just sit here. We're still showing a relative strength and a bullish long-term trend. Our allocation, we would like to have 20% in international funds, and we're just seeing a couple of funds that could be allocated. We haven't made a move there yet, but we're seeing the same situation where this is neutral and weakening, and we're seeing our best other scores are neutral or bullish, and we're also seeing the trend scores weaken. At the bottom, this was a possible choice, but we're seeing a red light, so we're going to, again, elect to just keep the capital in the money market for now. And finally, we have a 20% allocation to our sector funds. We're still bullish and have 2 green lights, but we're continuing to weaken. And we have a 10% allocation here. We're still bullish long term, but the same situation is that we are weakening with the trend scores. We went from a 3.88, 2.33, and this week we went down to a 1.57. So with this trend, we're seeing an early weakening in the trend, so we don't have any reason to allocate more capital here. An aggressive investor might start to lighten up and take 5% or 10% off the table. For us, because we're seeing these green lights, we're going to just go ahead and sit here and see what develops. We still have 20% in the money market. So if there's a situation where we could purchase something, we will. And if we start to see red lights occur in the long-term trend, we'll be moving away from our current investment selections and sitting safely in the money market for the time being. With that said, that's what we've got for this week. I hope this has been helpful. I'll show you how to use a different tool to help you make choices within your 401k. To go back to our main page, you simply click on View, go to the Custom Views in the top ribbon, and then you can go to the, let's go with the Performance columns and click OK. That's it. That's what we've got for the week. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope this has been helpful. Thank you.